Hello there. We're live now. Today it's Friday. I'm here with Marlena. We're doing a video which is based around me having seen Exorcist Believer today, The Exorcist Believer, I think it's called. And Marlena has not been able to see it yet. Hello, Marlena. And
Hi everyone.
basically, you also mentioned in a message to me about how you've seen those films which seem to be having quite a high popularity generally. The X film, and then there was I think it was a prequel, wasn't it? Pearl.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
I've not seen either of those films, but I know I follow this Manchester singer. She's called Ren Harview, and then one day she just randomly posted up what was, I presume, the end credits of Pearl. And I get really I'm like obsessive about things often on the
hmm
believe it or not, and like if people just post things and they don't explain what it is, and so I'm
Yeah.
like kind of, and it's basically the end credits of I think it's Pearl, and it's her just kind of looking at the camera, doing this sort of like pained smile. Do you remember the ending of the film? Is that right?
I haven't. No, I haven't finished the
Oh,
Pearl
you haven't
yet.
seen Pearl? I think it's that I've ruined the
I
film for you. And
no, but I mean, I know a lot of things about it, so don't worry.
that's not the ending of X then. Her just looking at the camera and sort of.
Yeah. So Pearl is the it explains how X came to be, how the X movie came to be. And it ends. The X movie ends. Like with a cliffhanger or something, because there is going to be a continuation of X movie, and Pearl movie I think it ends so that the X movie continues, because they are all related.
Well, sorry, they've made it like in a kind of crazy fashion where there's
Yeah.
X, and then they've made a prequel, and then they're presumably going to make a sequel to X. So
Yes, it's
uh,
a bit crazy.
but it's probably quite a good commercial option to take, where it keeps the audience on the toes because, in comparison, having seen The Exorcist Believer today, I think there is an element where you think, like, could they not have done something, say, a little bit more surprising, perhaps,
hmm
to keep the audience on their toes. But on the other hand, having viewed a lot of the critics' reactions, and certainly Voltaire, who's on this show, he made me aware of a site called Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like the film has got 20% from critics' reviews on there.
Oh God.
20%. Well, it's not got any
Yeah.
audience. It's not got any audience reviews yet, which I imagine will be higher, although not like 80%. You see, because I think the film is just destined. I would say I wouldn't describe it as being doomed, but I'd say it's destined to not get the best reviews because of its very nature, which I think will appeal to a certain part of the audience like me, but I don't think it necessarily would appeal to like people who want to go out and watch a film that's like scary. So
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
the first half of the film is basically like really a long, slow sort of build up mystery story. So you know
Yeah,
you can
but I
imagine.
mean, I mean, people who like The Exorcist, the first Exorcist, probably will enjoy this one too, right?
I would say so. Yeah, I think it's got, for me, it has the hallmarks of the people who made it have like a lot of respect for the original film. The only thing I would say is possibly um, almost too much respect that there's an almost like playing it safe in this film. Like as I said before, I'd even seen it. Like they don't even go into any of the landscape of the original film. It's
Yeah.
none of the actual locations. In a way, that's like a deference where it's like, okay, that film's just too, it's the classic. We can't touch that. So we leave the whole landscape of that film, its geography as such, and we'll do our
Yeah.
own thing in a way. And it uses certain parts of the film, of the original, and then in a way plays homage to them. But it's very careful, I would say.
So okay, so what is your conclusion about the movie? Because you don't seem too excited about it.
Well, I started getting worried when I really noticed the out of cinema reviews that people were posting up on YouTube, and there's like you get these kind of people from America who are just doing these rapid fire reviews, which I pretty much dislike as a whole. Well, I find them absolutely terrible, to be honest. And I didn't believe them. I felt like they were just sort of steamrolling over the film. But there were a few that were a bit more positive. So I'm kind of like in that camp of people who like feel almost like there's been such a bad reaction to the film. It almost feels like you're sort of sticking out like a sore thumb by, saying, oh, well, I actually quite like this part and this part. It's like I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it all the way through, really. And then, like, there's just this shot, once the girls, again, I don't want to spoil the film for people like yourself who haven't seen it, but there's one shot where you can quite clearly see there's a bottle of haloperidol, which is the same drug mentioned in the early parts of season 2 of Twin Peaks, where the one-armed man is on haloperidol.
Yeah.
And I think it could be said that this film could have maybe dealt with the scientific side of things a little bit more intently and showed you certain things and procedures. But on the other hand, it's like basically a film of two halves. And I realized how it's basically, like there's two girls in this one. It's everything is a split like between. And so the first part of the film is like basically a long missing girls film with initial part. The opening part sequence is pretty decent. And then it just becomes a missing persons film. And then essentially the smaller elements of like possession, etc., just kind of come in slowly. And that's all really well done, I think. And when they're searching for the girls as well, I thought that was good. The locations where they were looking for them. Because they're looking like down in these spaces which look a bit like sewers or something. And it sort of makes me think like, this is too close to say It, or, films of recent times where it's like the monsters on the sewer. And like, it just makes me wonder, like, why are you doing that? Because the girls aren't found in the sewers anyway. They find bits of them. It's not a sewer. It's like an underwater area and of some kind of old building, whatever. It's pretty mysterious. And the film, you see, basically the first half of the film is straightforward enough and like shows you the girls, one of their dads mainly focuses on the black girl, Angela. And so they go missing and everything. They show you the woods where they've gone missing. They eventually find them. They think they've gone for a few hours, but they've gone for 3 days. And that's as soon as that basically is happening, things just start going, completely wrong. And I think actually, if I'd not seen any of the trailers as well, that might have been a really good thing. Because it's like, it's like that shot of the horse, which is, and I've got another suspicion as well. Like the film was heralded as being 2 hours, 1 minute. They said it was going to be that long, and then they released it 1 hour 51 minutes. Like 10 minutes from the film was 10 minutes from the film has just vanished.
That's weird.
So like also the first part of the film, first half, quite slow. You could imagine some people in the audience going, what is this true crime movie? Eating sausage rolls or something. And then all I got was people mainly coughing. But then the second half of the film, it's like too fast. It's like like this happening, this happening, this happening,
Yeah.
the girls freaking out and doing, the typical stuff you could imagine. Although it's not, I would say, to credit the film, it does try and kind of, add certain things which are not in the original film. It's not just like, there is one sequence that's almost like basically, when Ellen Burstyn comes in, but this has been shown in the trailers. It just seems a shame that they have to. This is so true of films nowadays. Like, everything is shown already before the film comes out.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if Exorcist was not received so good because there are other horror movies that were released this year that were better and they had more impact. I don't know. And people were already, like hyped from those movies.
Do you mean like the Pope's Exorcist, or?
Like, for example, there is a movie that is very famous, Talk to Me.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there is this continuation of the Nun movie, whatever. So I don't know. Maybe there are too many horror movies released this year. Some of them are really good.
There is that aspect of it where there are movies that are coming out which are new ideas, and there were a couple of trailers, particular one that I can't remember the name of, where basically, this young man goes to stay in a kind of mansion with someone who's obviously very wealthy, a friend from, from university, and it's like, it's probably a bit midsummery. I mean, that film looked interesting to me, especially because of the actors in it, etc. And The Exorcist obviously is almost, some people could say it's like been played to death, so it's got that aspect
that's
of it.
True. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean the whole possession movie is like very saturated, the genre. So it's like already.
I think this film
people are already tired of it.
It's a Blue Mouse film, and it's like it is tailored in its second half towards the modern horror audience, who are sort of not looking for a film that lasts like 2.5 hours or something, like a serious, almost sort of arty film, like this. This is The Exorcist, but made into a modern horror film for now, almost. But I would say it's been done fairly well. But I think the fact that the director, David Gordon Green, has said, I may or may not make the sequel, before this is even released, he said that a few days ago, like
Wow.
Seems like that's a weird thing to say in an interview for like a film that's just coming out, like when he's already announced. Like, that says basically the studio is not confident with him directing the second one. They'd rather give it to someone else to try and kind of up the ante, because they realize that this one effectively acts as a prologue. I would say to Dan Peake, it does work as a standalone story, yes, but it leaves you with a lot of questions in there. It almost feels like there's about half an hour of the film cut out. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out as a longer director's cut, when they just do that because people are going to buy it. And also I found out today the budget of this film it was like $30 million. So
whoa,
I bet
Jesus.
No, but I'm saying, but that, Marlena, is like low budget by today's standards.
Okay. For The Exorcist movie or what?
Well, they could have made it easily like on 15 million probably, but I mean, it's kind of got sequences in it which are fairly sort of like big movie standard type of, big budgeted standard, but mostly it's also fairly localized for long periods, like where it just is around the houses of, the girls, their neighborhood. So it's not kind of, it's not like a James Bond film in that sense, you know what I mean? It's a James Bond Exorcist film. That would be an interesting.
James Bond Exorcist.
Yeah, I'm just talking about that because I was watching. I was talking about the actress who was in Skyfall, but come to that at another point. And I think The trouble is, it's very difficult for me to talk about the second half, particularly because it's like I often talk about the visuals, really, I suppose. And so then I'm just going to spoil it for people if I start going into things. But I also knew the whole plot of the film before I saw it. But
Okay.
But I will say, like, I'll be interested to hear your response when you see it, because I was a bit like, okay, that's kind of a big thing to happen at the end of the film, right? But I'm just sort of like, the thing I mean that I'm talking about is the second half of the film as a whole. The second hour feels effectively like really dreamlike, the style of it and everything. It almost feels like it's all this possession stuff, like somebody, like a group, you know, crazy thing that they're all imagining partly, and just these girls are basically just trouble because one of the priest effectively steps out and says this will have to be dealt with by psychiatrists. As a priest, I can't say this has to be negative.
Oh.
And he steps out for a long time, so it's sort of like giving you all these things, like thinking, what the hell's going on with this film? Because then they cast Anne Dowd in it, who is like a rather suspicious character, obviously a member of a cult in Hereditary. I mean, the acting as a whole is good all throughout, I would say.
Yeah.
Solid. Like, but I do think the girls in it really are. I mean, the one playing Angela, the black girl, she's particularly good. She's very good. The one playing Catherine, I can't remember if I'm saying her name right. I mean, she's just not in it as much, though. I thought they were both going to be in it equal. You see. So it's like if they're on equal footing, it's like they're both possessed. And it basically gets to this point, as you've seen in the trailer, where it's like one dies, one lives. Yeah. The trailer's basically revealing the entire plot of the film. I mean, but still, that's films nowadays. I was in the half one screening, and there were probably about 10 people in my cinema. So.
Oh, okay.
But if anyone goes and sees it, they'll go and see it probably at night mainly. So I'm sure it'll do fine. The bad reviews will not help, though.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if you go on this IMDb and you search for X and Pearl, you are going to find a lot of bad reviews. So, I mean, it's very subjective, that internet website. But when you go on Rotten Tomatoes, I think Rotten Tomatoes is more like it's more like a solid, and it gives you, more like accurate reviews, or I don't know, or accurate description of the film.
No, I was describing Rotten. No, I was describing Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it's like better. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is better.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it 20% on critics so far. That's not going to go up.
Yeah, but it's just new. I mean, you have to wait for a while, until people are going to post reviews.
It'll moderate a bit. There are quite a lot. There are actually quite a lot of reasonable views of it. It's just that a lot of people on there have rated it like 0 out of 5 or 1 out of 5 or something. It's just, there's a lot of hatred for this film, honestly. Like, it was basically doomed from the start because of the director, because of the Halloween trilogy. They're like, so many of these American fans in particular, they hated how Halloween ends for some. And I mean, I don't really care one way or the other. Like, I watched the first Halloween remake he made, and I thought it was decent, but
someone says that Talk to Me blows The Exorcist. Yeah, I'm really excited about Talk to Me, because I haven't watched it. It's more exciting because it's like a new idea. It's like a original, So,
right.
I'm really curious.
Well, I mean, I can understand as far as an idea is concerned. Some people might think that, but I mean, I watched the film and I don't really agree with Monkey Island on that. I didn't find Talk to Me anything particularly remarkable. It's just
okay. Yeah, because when you go on YouTube, you're going to find crazy raving reviews of Talk to Me. So I don't know if you watched any of those.
No, I think there's a lot of people who just, they do this sort of thing of like out of the cinema review, and I don't think that like reviewing a film on the day you've seen it is going to give you an accurate kind of portrayal really of what you think of it. I don't.
Yeah.
If anything, but I do think that as soon as you attach like The Exorcist, whatever, you know, The Exorcist airbending extravaganza or whatever it's called, like as soon as it says The Exorcist, people are just like, you know, gunning for it, or like they're just full of venom. And like this, first of all, this could never be as good as the original Exorcist, and then it just attracts a lot of venom because of the nature of it. It's just And this film is particularly, like some people said, this film gives quite a pro religion, pro, you know, spiritual belief feel overall.
Okay.
And some people just don't like that. And I was reading that, I was like, can't people just can't they put their feelings aside whilst watching a film? It's like, you don't have
that's
to
all about it's like exorcism is all about religion and religion beliefs and
well, I think we live in a very
feelings.
I think in Western countries, especially now, and I mean, I don't know, I can't speak really about this, but I think the kind of world that The Exorcist came into 50 years ago is not the same one now. And that's why in this film, they introduce a sort of different levels of, like, there's one woman and she just seems to be putting lots of flowers in a bath. And I was looking at that and thinking, that's what my sister and a friend did when they were little. And like, then they'd try and sell, you know, flower water. Or we've made perfume. We've made perfume. No, this was just a little girl thing that was popular at one time. I'm sure it still is amongst some people. And yeah, there's that kind of like Wiccan element or something. She seems to be. But the thing is, it doesn't really explain exactly what's going on with all these different people there. So there is an aspect of, like, if you're going to have this many different people in the film, it's coming in the second half, then, you know, and the characters aren't developed, that is a problem for many people.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't particularly bother me because I don't really process the film on the level of like characterization or something, because especially this one, because like when the film has like literally the last 1 minute Linda Blair just suddenly pops up, you're like,
yeah, well, I think it's like, yeah, but characters are so important, I think.
They are, yeah.
I think, they are very important.
Just the last thing I'll say about, before I end my kind of ranting about it, like the famous film critic from the UK, Mark Kermode, he's always said like The Exorcist is the best film ever made, which is, it kind of made sense at one point, but now it seems a bit. I don't. No. I think he put himself into a box there with that, and like now he gave a review of this one, and he effectively just ranted about it. But he also said how terrible, for instance, Exorcist 2 is, according to him. And you know, I completely disagree with that. I don't think Exorcist 2 is terrible at all. It's like highly entertaining, if obviously ridiculous. But you know, any story about the possession of somebody, I mean, it's inevitably going to be ridiculous, right? So
maybe, I don't know, depends. I think there is at least one possession movie that is good. You know, cornucopia of possession movies out there.
There's more than one. I mean, definitely. But he, like, for instance, he dismissed, for instance, the possession with the exorcism of Emily Rose, for instance.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was.
He dismissed that one as being like just, you know, just nothing special and not very good. But I would disagree on that as well. I mean, whilst the film, obviously, I don't think it's like a masterpiece of cinema.
No,
as a horror film, it's certainly, I think it's quite effective.
Yeah, it is very good, and it also talks about mental illness, which is what possession is all about, or not possession in general, but you know what possession is, you know, talked about, associated with, you know, mental illness, schizophrenia, demonic possession.
Yeah, this element of like someone's no longer, this idea of, I mean, the film really exaggerates it, doesn't it? Like she comes from this kind of farming area and
Yeah.
house in the middle of nowhere, and then she's in this university and she just cracks, and it's like, but this is no sort of like far-fetched story. This happens to people because you're taken out.
It was real. It was real. It was real. The possession of.
Well, it was based on that German, the real German.
Yeah,
possession bit.
yeah.
But that was made into a film as well. That's, if you're going to say, I can't remember the name of that film, the German one, but can anyone in the chat remind me of that German possession film about the girl who gets possessed?
Yeah, I don't remember.
That's one of the ones where you could say, like, they just portrayed it entirely seriously, without somebody, levitating off the bed with
yeah,
with something coming out of the mouth and all the kind of things they have to do, where it gets sort of like ridiculous, and you just think, oh, what next, basically.
I just remember something that is like a bit ridiculous. I was browsing through YouTube. I don't know what I was like trying to search. I think something about demonic possession, and I found this YouTube channel of a priest who is helping people who are possessed with a demon. And he's actually advising people of what to do with the demon if they are approached by a demon. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, what the heck? Like, is this like he really, really believes in this kind of stuff? And people in the comment section are like, oh, I was possessed by a demon and you helped me so much. Like, is this it's like what people are actually going through in their day-to-day life,
What? Yeah, but like, you wouldn't think that, like, okay, I've been possessed, I'm just going to hunt out like possession videos on YouTube and just casually say, well, I was actually possessed. It worked for me. I mean, it's like going to a day spa or something. I got a really good massage. It cost so much, but it was worth it.
Yeah, massage.
Like, imagine if you could go to like, there were sort of health clinics or whatever. It says possession.
Yeah, possession.
Like,
we are helping you with possession. Don't worry.
Only not available yet on the National Health Service.
No. No, but I mean, some people live in this kind of world, like where they believe in demons and demonic possession, all this kind of stuff. I actually don't. I'm more likely to believe in schizophrenia and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, it's real. Some people really, like, they, and they describe all kinds of entities, how they approach them and stuff like that. And you can explain those kind of entities that they approach you, like the shadows, like, because some people are in sleep paralysis and they also see the shadow. I mean, what's up with that?
I will say
that those are demons.
Towards the end of this film, it does have certain images in it which are different to anything before in any other Exorcist film in terms of portraying a demon. It doesn't have like a massive demon just suddenly appear in the room or something like that. Would have been,
okay.
I mean, let's face it, that would have been like, well, kind of know, it could have been entertaining or scary, but like, the thing is, they had like imagery in there, but a lot of it is quite like flashing by as things that you can't.
Oh, okay.
So there's like kind of slightly subterranean creature type imagery. I'd say it fits in pretty well, especially with this film. It's like, it comes across as like, okay, we've got to write this. Like, I really love Twin Peaks. Yeah, okay, then we'll put the girls in the woods. They go missing in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Then they talk about the girls being missing for 3 days. Then the priest woman, she was going to be a nun, but she's not. She says, Jesus, like, when he died, he went to hell for 3 days. Like the girls went missing for 3 days.
Really? I had no idea he went to
hell. I didn't know about this, but no, they come and bring in all these theological things, which are just like, who said that? Where is this? Where does this say this in the Bible? That is.
It doesn't. I don't think so.
I mean, I've learned new things, like,
or maybe
my nephew was drawing pictures and he named one of the characters Ham. Like a slice of ham, right? And and my mum went, oh, I think that was actually one of Adam and Eve's children. Ham. Oh, wow. So they called the child Ham. That's sick.
Oh, God.
Well, they had one child called Ham, one called Spam.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I didn't even know Adam and Eve had children. I thought they were just a bit naughty, you know, like.
I mean, Cain and Abel, weren't Cain and Abel the children of Adam and Eve, or am I too?
I have no idea. I mean, the thing is with all these
No,
stories and things in the
wait.
Bible, it's like my mum might have been making a joke. I can fully realize that because she's pretty funny.
Yeah,
but,
definitely, yeah.
you know,
No child in the scriptures or was called Ham. I think. Like, what the fuck?
no, but
I went through the Bible, you know. I browsed it because, you know, my parents had the Bible, you know, so I used to read some.
do you not need glasses to look at the text next? Because now,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
'cause
you need, yeah. It's like this kind of small text.
I got some glasses recently, and it's like it actually did help for the viewing of this film, though. It made it a little bit clearer for me, so that's good.
Oh, there was no 3D version of the movie, or?
No, I'm talking about, you know, like I've got like varifocal lenses for reading, and
Oh, okay.
but no, it's not a 3D film. It is. I would say
it would have been nice, right?
Yeah, more so than IMAX, because as they call it, the whole IMAX thing is really just they've turned it into like a sales way of, you know, like upping the price for the certain viewings where they show it on a bit of a bigger screen, and they claim it's IMAX. This is not true IMAX. True IMAX is like a really huge screen, like when I went to see The Dark Knight, you know, the second Batman film. But
okay.
the thing is, like, why do you want to go and see a film that looks huge? I would rather like see it, like you say, in 3D, especially a film like this. It would add to the atmospheric quality of it.
Yeah, I don't know, but just because it's a horror movie, and maybe I was thinking that it would, you know, take you closer to the characters if you were seeing it in 3D. It's like, for example, I can make an observation about X movie, like the way they shot that movie. I cannot explain that because I'm not knowledgeable in that kind of. But the angles were in that way that, you know, you felt as if you were next to like they shot behind the character, like you were behind the woman, you were behind the guy, you were like very close, or like the shoulder was like naked, you know, you were like very close. They
were going for like I think initially with the first one, X, they were going for like that. Although I've not seen it, but from what I know, it's like a 70s look, you know, they call it like a 70s low budget filmmaking style, but at the same time it's got this like really exposed sort of, you know, bright film quality to it.
So,
which can give you
very good, very realistic.
It's like you can see the pores of almost like the face, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
Exactly, it's very well shot. It's very well shot, and the characters
this film
are
didn't.
Very good.
This film, Exorcist Believer, like someone in a review that I was reading on Rotten Tomatoes, you know, they were just saying this film is like poshly mounted. They described it as. I was like, posh? What do you mean? Like, they mean that it. They mean actually, and they do have a real point to it. Like this film, I don't know if you've seen the remake of Halloween, which is the same director, and it had a little bit more of a earthy feel to it, you know. But that's partly just the cinematography. Like, I do think that David Gordon Green should step aside and just let someone else direct the second one, because, you know, he's too his style of filmmaking, etc., is too realist. And for the most part, like it, then when he goes into the sort of more the possession and fantastical elements, it feels like someone who's just being really careful, too careful.
Okay.
And it's like it's just on the edge of going into pure horror, but it doesn't really go full in. It just sort of, even certain scenes, they're just brief, and then it steps back out, and it's like,
oh, okay.
There's some things in the film that you just watch and you're like, that happened so fast, and the scene was just so kind of, the way it was shot and the style and everything, the colours, it's just like, did that even happen? And like, how is this And the characters coming in and out as well. It's just completely like surrealistic in the second half. So, but at the end of the day, if I keep just telling you any more, it's just basically revealing the entire plot, which, you know.
Yeah, but I'm going to see it anyway, so to have my own opinion of it, because I don't want to just take all this, information from other people and just, because sometimes I do that. I just listen to everyone talking about a certain movie, and then I decide not to watch it because I just.
But I think what they've done
everything.
with this, what they've effectively done with this film, slightly too carefully, they've done a kind of revival of the Exorcist brand, and that's what it works as for me.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's good enough. That's, I mean, obviously, I was hoping for shots of more people flying out of windows and falling down those steps and things like that. Because when you think of a scene like that, there's nothing in this film quite as dramatic as that kind of thing, really. Well, there are arguably, but like in the first Exorcist, just the setting of it, like a house next to this massive load of steps, and just it's had this kind of gothic feel almost to it, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. The first Exorcist, you say.
Yeah, absolutely, and
yeah, no, it had a gothic feel. Yeah, exactly. That's what made me so terrified. When I first watched it, I was very traumatized by the movie.
But this film has elements in it that are disturbing, but they just pass by in the kind of blink of an eye. It's set in Georgia, and it's so reminiscent of that area, with just these dry and there's one point where a snake is just crawling along when they're looking for the girls, and then one of the fathers remarks on them referring to sort of homeless type people as being the itinerant population or whatever they call them, and one of these people in the homeless shelter, he does make quite a crude comment, gesturing with his fingers, and he's of what the girls might have been up to in these and considering the girls are only 12 or 13, that scene is quite quite disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't completely just it doesn't pussyfoot around all of the different ideas that are in the original Exorcist. So that's a positive. It just kind of doesn't really function entirely as a satisfactory standalone film. But then when they've said that this is a trilogy, why would it? So
Yeah. Yeah.
So that. Did you want to mention anything that you've watched otherwise, or any thoughts?
Well, what I've watched, I think it's like for me, it's important if I watch a horror movie and there is some kind of original element in it. It doesn't have to be entirely original. So I thought that X movie was quite original and quite scary from that point of view. And I think Pearl is also a bit original because it explains X anyway. But as I told you, the angles, the way they shot the movie, I mean, it was so claustrophobic because I really felt like I was there. And it was a very cinematic experience, So I don't know. That's what I wanted to say. And I wanted to talk about this kind of sociopathic, sociopathy in movies.
You mentioned the idea of necessarily what can make someone almost. I think people can. There's almost equality where there can be some people who can be could become a part-time psychopath, but they're not a full-blown psychopath. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in this movie, the X and Pearl, the main character, she is a sociopath, but I mean, she's not just going out there and killing people. She's just she has an issue that made her. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but she has an issue that made her commit crimes, But she does not purposely, she has a plan to murder a certain amount of people and goes around, like a serial killer does. Sometimes it
Well,
just happens, and she
in the
just does
context
that.
of what we're talking about, you may as well mention something of her issue. I wouldn't imagine it really spoils the film so much, because unless you really don't want to, Marlena, so it's up to you. So.
To spoil what?
Sort of like what you say her issue is. What does it stem back to?
Well,
Obviously,
well,
she
I
was
don't.
possessed by a demon.
Well, she is no, but I mean, she is possessed. But I mean, because she is possessed by her animalistic tendencies or animalistic instinct, because she needs to survive somehow. That's her first instinct while she is growing up. She needs to have this kind of survive. She has this survivals, tendency in her, and for her to survive in this world, she just needs to be seen, to be, because she wants to become this kind of
It's like
movie star. She needs to
it's
become
even,
this movie star, yeah.
but it's even like a violent tendency. You mean?
Yes, it is a violent tendency, because the thing that makes her even more like sociopathic is because she cannot get what she wants, and exactly like Leland, in Twin Peaks. These people don't get what they want, like, because everybody wants to be seen, to get love and attention and admiration, whatever, to get happiness, but this woman in this X movie, she does not get happiness, because she does not get what she
Well,
wants,
I
so
think
she's very bitter.
With Leyland, he's like, he wants to be seen in a certain way. It's a big part of the whole Twin Peaks thing, like how we present ourselves to the world. He wants to be seen as this sort of guy, loved guy in the society, in the area he lives in. And then as soon as that starts dismantling, he becomes like, well, I don't have to say anything. I mean, it starts off with the Teresa Banks thing, and then Teresa Banks, we see particularly in the the Missing Pieces how she threatens to expose him. But
exactly.
And I would say, like, nonetheless, none of that exactly really explained to me fully what Leyland did. So,
I think David Lynch doesn't explain why Leland is like that. But I mean, do you really have to understand why he did those things? Because I mean, he did those things because he needed to do them. I don't
know. Well, there was an element obviously suggested that he felt like there was something controlling him, so.
Oh yeah, okay. Like,
as
do you
in,
mean
like,
in the
as
form
in,
of Bob?
like Bob, or there's that literal dialogue at the end of Fire Walk with Me where he goes, don't make me do this. So
yeah, it's true. But I mean, because remember when he was talking about when he was a little boy, there was this guy in the form of Bob throwing these matches at him, and I think he just mentions about feeling like he was possessed by Bob when he was little, or he was in he was in this kind of fearful state or something like that. So maybe,
well, he said that Bob came into him, which is incredibly suggestive of something sexual.
So he was used by Bob when he was small.
If that happened, then many people who are sexually abused as a youngster don't go on like killing sprees or kill their own daughter. But Twin Peaks is a Twin Peaks. Well, I don't know. Leyland didn't necessarily go on a killing spree, but he was like a Hitchcockian villain, wasn't he? He had to kill off a variety of people, or else he wouldn't be found. He wouldn't,
he tried to keep everything quiet.
It was the mechanics of the soap opera and the detective story that he was in, but at the same time, I do think that Twin Peaks: The Return sort of presented him about as well as you can, where he's just like completely seems to be remorseful and sort of find Laura. That whole question. It's like, why? Why do you want to find Laura? But it's like, to me, it's like, find the beauty of the daughter that I killed, and find
Mm-hmm.
It's to do with that.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to say. That I mean, because Leland, he didn't go around just killing people and committing all these crimes. He was not like a Ted Bundy or something like that.
Well,
He
possibly would have done more if he could, because as we saw it in that shot with Cooper, where they pull him over in his car and he's got a golf club and he's holding it kind of behind Cooper, and it's like, I mean, obviously, it's a dramatic moment, but it does make you think, like, Leyland knows what's going on here. He knows that Cooper's onto him, and that he just knows that something is wrong here, because they're literally looking in and they they don't examine what's in the golf bag.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you are thinking from their own perspective, like, how would you, like, as a normal person, think about someone having a body in the tracks? Someone that you think it's normal.
Well, no, at that point they still, by the point when Leyland goes fully, possessed and everything, Sheriff Truman is like, Leyland, like,
Mm-hmm.
like, how is this possible?
That's the best moment of the entire.
But, like, come on, I mean, someone who goes around singing in front of large audiences of people whilst dancing with a golf club is completely. This guy is completely innocent of anything.
Yeah.
Because he's a good dancer. I mean, you've got to say, Leyland he was a good singer as well.
Yeah, probably.
But when he did the collapse as well at the. Do you remember when he collapses and he's good at the kind of dinner party? Like, at that point, like, wouldn't Dr. Hayward kind of go, Sheriff, I think there's something wrong with Leyland. Like, he's singing, he's just getting up, singing, going, oh, what was he singing then? Something like, but just let's get happy. That was what it was. Let's get happy. And then he collapses, and it's another one of these, like, Lynch moments where a character has to collapse. Like at the start of Blue Velvet, actually, which occurred again in another show that was on this week. I saw they had a character fall over next to a like sprinkler, like or a hose on the, and I thought it was in this drama called The Long Shadow, and it's all about another a genuine serial killer, Peter Sutcliffe. Okay. It's not really about him though; it's about the police and the people who were affected, the families. It's quite it's a tragic thing, but I thought the drama was very well done, if relentlessly grim.
Is it a British serial killer?
Yeah, it's very well made. I was impressed by it. I just went through it like this, like, like, because when I find something that I really like, I just sort of like almost devour it a bit.
Oh, okay.
And then I think to myself, like, I should have waited, like, watched it a bit slower, and just like.
What's the point? I'll do that.
No, I just think to myself, I'm a complete dick. I'm just saying that partly because of Josh in the chat. That's some of his style of humor. He often would bring to the show in the past. Yeah, it's like it's got all these, like, Yorkshire police in it, this Long Shadow, and it's like, well, we've got to investigate this crowd, lad. It's like this. It's very funny, to sort of, but at the same time, they're dealing with something very, and back in the day, they were kind of, at times, sexist, and since some of the crimes, well, many of them actually, were dealing with prostitutes, they were like, oh, it's just another prostitute. Well, most of them were not like that, but some of them were. And, yeah, it's got a good cast.
Quirky police guys, British.
Well, they're not. They're like just sort of. They just droll and Yorkshire, and they're like,
they droll.
Can you get a cup of tea, love? Yorkshire bone and bread.
I love that. I love how British.
It starts with it's just another murder, and now it's just like, oh, fucking hell. And they've got basically the actor David Morrissey and they've got like his hair dyed, and then they put like these flecks of white in it, and then it's like he's got this kind of pallid complexion and like ruddy red bits.
Yeah.
And it's just so kind of 1970s. I'll have a nice big large spoonful of that mashed potato and a steak and kidney pie, and then some baked beans on it, and then I'll smoke half a packet of cigarettes. Yeah, it is. And yeah, like
no, because you made me think about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know, the police TV shows.
No, this is serious. So it's like I mean, if you had access to ITVX there, like you should watch it. But I don't know how you'd find this in where you're situated in Romania.
I can't find anything on my illegal sites.
Yeah, I've been on those different places, but like I've got
almost anything.
Got them on a Fire Stick, and then sometimes it just doesn't work, and it's just like pointless.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah. There is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I mean, when you are looking at the comments and on the reviews of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they say that this is exactly how the police officers in America behave at work, because I mean, they say it's a kind of natural portrait of policemen at work in America. Because they just don't do much work; they just joke.
You mean like, and also blasé about serious crimes as well? Like,
yeah, they just make fun of crimes and stuff like that. It's like,
2 people shot this morning. Well, anyway, I don't know why I'm doing. This is a clip that Josh sent me, and it's not new. It was from 9 years ago. This is in Shipley in Yorkshire. So it's just like people kind of having a bit of a Barney argument in this bus station. So just have a listen to this one.
I'm a bit brighter than you, love. A lot brighter. You might be, love. A lot brighter. And you can test me on history, geography, politics, anything you want. But what I've heard from you today is worse than what I hear from children in school playgrounds. That's how much you know. What are you doing in children? I didn't say I was in the children. No, but you're hearing it in the children's playground. That's what I've heard. No, I hear this, I hear that. Is somebody speaking to you from up there? No, you love. Oh, here, listen.
Okay, now.
Keep your mouth shut then. Keep it shut. If you've nothing better to say, keep it shut. You disputed me and this man when we were on about the death penalty. End of story. That's how this started. Will you check on that? That's how this started. Will you check? If you disagree on that? If you disagree, that is entirely up to you. You're talking so much nonsense about hanging offences in England. You are off your trolley. Absolutely. There still is a law. There's no law about hanging in this country. No. You're talking shit. There's no law about hanging in America. Don't hang him, love. And don't hang him in America, they give him the old pill. They don't hang him, exactly.
Give him a pill?
They don't do it here. I know that. Because nobody's done anything. Nobody's done anything wrong. Nobody's done anything wrong. Nobody beheaded anybody on the streets of London.
Give him a pill to stop pregnancy.
I didn't say nobody's done anything wrong, is what you were going with. No, that is
like, he's really calm. He's just like...
No, yeah.
Because what? Because
she's crazy.
About the royalty. Nobody's done anything wrong because nobody's what? Done anything wrong? No, the royalty. So what about royalty? And the shipyards and anything else. What are the shipyards to do with anything? This goes back and it hasn't been repealed. All laws have been repealed. They're superseded by European law. No.
European law.
Yes, love. Yes,
look how calm the brunette one is.
No.
It's like she's smiling.
It's just bizarre, this is.
Do whatever. Do what? I will
That's some kind of weird show or
abroad,
something.
wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Because people like you are about to bring this country to its knees.
I served for this country.
People like you, well, God help us if you serve. What did you serve us?
Get
You
out.
in the kitchen, did you? Tea cakes.
How do you know that one?
Yeah. You didn't
Get
do
out.
fuck all else.
Did you do anything?
I know this man served.
Did you do anything?
I wasn't born, love, until after it was over.
And I don't think you should have been born the way you
Ah,
were.
well. For you, I was. And your ilk. Because as long as I'm alive, I'll make sure I stick up for my country, because I'm not a traitor. I'm a traitor.
I can see it.
Yeah, I'm not a traitor.
Oh my God, this woman is
You
like,
clearly are.
Oh, yeah.
We'll stop, mate. Even the dogs got involved now.
yeah.
This is what happened when no buses come on time.
When the bus is late, yeah. Look like that woman is like was trying to get away from her.
Hero Wars. Take a break. Have you got a dog there then?
Yeah, I have a dog here. Yeah.
I thought there
It's
was a
like
dog.
quite
I thought there was a dog outside, like on the street
Big
in that
dog.
video.
No, it's a big dog here. That's why
Oh,
he's
really?
like, he has like a huge muzzle, so he's like
It's got a muzzle.
when he barks. When he barks, it's like everyone can.
Oh, I
hear
see.
the
Yeah.
bill.
What kind of dog is it then?
Border collie, like adult male. Border collie.
What, like black and white?
Yeah, that type.
Oh, my sister's got family have got a dog like that called Dandy. She's really nice, but she's active, very active. It's like a
Yeah,
sheepdog.
and they're very like how do you say? They are very like intense dogs. So when they bark, it's like crazy. You can hear them everywhere, and they are like running like crazy.
Yeah, they
just
can
crazy
run really
dogs.
fast.
Yeah.
They must be one of the fastest dogs, apart from greyhound, maybe. So,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
or spanker dogs or something like that.
Spanker dogs.
I'm
Well,
just-
they have these competitions with border collies. If you've seen competitions of running competitions with all these obstacles, and each border collie
Yeah.
has to go through these obstacles, and they look at the time, and it's quite fun to watch because they are crazy. They are like machines. They don't look like dogs because they're like very very fast.
Yeah, Josh. So have you got any other good clips for us to watch before we finish, Josh? Because that one was good, but at the same time, I will say borderline incomprehensible. And
Borderline complex.
I mean, the woman with the red hair was just. I mean, I would have just like, if I'd seen her, I would have just like probably just punched her really hard in the chin.
Really?
No.
Is that no? But
Definitely
I mean, what happens in the UK when you do that? Because in Romania, people don't care. I mean, you can punch someone and they won't sue you.
Well, if I punched a woman like that in the chin, I don't think the outcome would be good, would it? Like-
No.
I'm fairly.
Yeah, you would be sued, right?
I would definitely be in trouble because you can't do things like that. I mean, it would be serious assault because and she's elderly, really. I mean, she kind of wasn't probably as old as we might think because she looked a bit peculiar, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mentally, the way she was just sort of like constantly ranting was just, there was something up with her, but.
Yeah, but I mean, those guys that she was talking to, they were quite calm. They were like, "Oh, we are not bothered with this at all." So you can learn.
Yeah, but you can tell that obviously they were still disturbed by her. So
Yeah.
he said to her, that she shouldn't have been bored. I mean, that's quite offensive.
Yeah. Yeah, but what can you do with a person like this? You have to stay calm, because if you get really fired up, they will be even worse. They will just go crazier.
Well, I would never be standing around in a bus stop near anyone like that. Full stop. So She was being like just incredibly provocative, and the things she was saying made no sense. But she was saying to him like, he's like, I served, and she was like, what did you serve at? Serving, serving cakes or something. I can't remember what she said. It's just like she basically just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking about how he was like, storming the beaches at Normandy or whatever, and she's going, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Right, you being a soldier, you complete twat.
Maybe she had her psychotic break.
She'd had something. That's what I mean. You could tell just from her hair that she was a live wire, because her hair had probably gone quite white, and she dyed it like that kind of reddish color, hadn't she? That was like a warning sign.
Warning sign.
And
what are you implying about people with red hair? What are you implying?
Nothing, because I mean my brother and sister are both auburn and stuff. Or
they are hair. Really?
Yeah.
So why aren't you like that?
Well, my hair's like kind of got reddish bits in it. If I was to have a beard, there would be quite a lot of reddish hair in it.
Oh, is it something like you find very like? Is it common, the red hair in England? I don't know if this is good content for you.
Well, my dad's mum his mother Edith, who we used to call Nana. She was always like quite calm, but she was a bit fiery actually, and she had red hair though.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I mean, maybe that woman wasn't dyeing her hair. That's a natural hair color, but it looked a bit. I mean, she was just
like
odd.
Artificial.
She was a bit peculiar. Well, yeah, you could tell. Like, she's probably been to some salon and they've gone like, "Oh, yeah, we'll make it all red for you." But to be honest, I think she's done that at home. The way she was interacting with people, she didn't really strike you as like someone who likes to stand around, kindly swapping, pleasantries with people.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like when you are in those kind of situations, like you are waiting for a long time for a bus. Because I was in Finland, and something similar happened. Like an older lady would start raging at someone, or would start having this kind of very heated conversation with people, and I was like, what the fuck? That was just suddenly, and I mean, what could you do? What can you do in this kind of situation? You just have to ignore these people, because otherwise you get into trouble. And security in Finland is very, very strict. You can't say anything bad to someone, otherwise you will be or you can do anything to someone. It's just very, very like strict. So you have to just ignore these people because they have issues.
Well, I mean, I don't see how it's possible to be policing everybody who just says something to somebody that might be offensive. I mean, so
yeah, I don't know.
But it depends on the circumstances, and if you're in a city somewhere and things.
Yeah. Ginger, I think ginger people are originated from Ireland. I heard something about that because I lived in Ireland, so maybe they come from there. I don't know, but yeah, Celtic is Irish. Celtic culture, Celtic, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I haven't seen any redheads or ginger people in Ireland while I was living there, like everyone was brunette. I don't know. It was funny. Or maybe they died there. You couldn't see.
Gladiator 2 is coming out next year.
Gladiator?
2.
Gladiator, like the continuation from Gladiator, the original Gladiator movie.
Well, I've never even seen the original Gladiator. I've never watched it. It's like
so why are you?
People partly put me off I'm looking at this actor called Barry Keoghan. I don't know how to say his name. I think he might be Irish, and he's in this new film that's coming out. So I was just trying to. I saw the trailer for it today, and I was just trying to look it up. Yeah, it's called Saltburn. Maybe we can watch the trailer as the last thing on here.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because I liked The Gladiator. It was good.
Yeah, many people are a fan of that. I think if I watched the entire film, I'd probably enjoy it somewhat.
Yeah.
Especially Joaquin Phoenix.
You would.
Joaquin Phoenix, because
Yeah.
he's always good in things. Like I saw this other film that he's in called Two Lovers that I want to watch.
Okay. Wow. Really?
It's a film.
Joaquin
It's not new.
Phoenix.
It's not new. It's got Gwyneth Paltrow in and Isabella Rossellini.
Okay.
He plays like a depressed young man, and the film starts with him jumping into a river, and I was like, oh, I think I might not watch all this now. It's a bit late.
Really?
Like,
okay. Oh, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, I've heard about that movie. Yeah, about depression and stuff like that. No.
Yeah, he's trying to kind of, I suppose the whole film is about him dealing with that and, trying to have a relationship or something like that.
Two lovers, you said. Yeah.
What?
Two lovers.
Oh, I think you said 2 hours. I thought you said, oh, we're going to do 2 hours now. No, let me just watch this. Just put this.
No, Two Lovers. The name of the movie is Two Lovers, you said.
Yes. I think there's a song with that title. Anyway, are you ready to watch this trailer? It's just something I thought was interesting. What you think of it anyway? It's a bit, I think the trailer is good in the sense that it actually leaves quite a lot up, to you go and see the film. Yeah.
Oh, nice tux.
Thank you.
Wow. A rental, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Where are we going, Felix?
You think you'll go home?
Honestly, home doesn't mean the same for me as it does for you, Felix.
Well, why don't you come home with me? Come to Saltburn.
I see why Felix likes you so much. You're so, real.
Oliver, I have a complete and utter horror of ugliness. Ever since I was very young. I don't know why.
Maybe because you're a terrible person.
Just going to pause it for a second because of, copyright, and it starts causing the video to go off and things.
What do you mean?
Oh, I don't want to go into explaining it now. I just have to. It's just something I have to do. So.
The people get lost in Saltburn.
This place, it's not for you.
I can honestly say that these last few months have been the happiest of my life. Anything else I should know about?
No, just be yourself. They'll love you. It's relaxed, I promise.
No, why?
Maybe because you're a terrible person.
Get lost in Saltburn.
This place, it's not for you.
I can honestly say that these last few months have been the happiest of my life.
Sorry, I meant to pause it just where Richard E. Grant was shown, but it's impossible.
Relaxed, I promise.
Okay, I didn't understand absolutely anything from this trailer.
Well, that's probably the intention, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, it's great because I like this kind of trailers. Very mysterious.
Yeah, I mean, it looks a bit. I mean, it doesn't quite give off that. You know what the hell's going on here? You know, aspect of the sort of, you know, is this some kind of cult or something like in no, I'm sorry, Midsummer. But it reminded me a little bit of that. But it's I imagine the film is more dealing, obviously, as is shown, you know, with this sort of class, you know, divide and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Snobbery, but this character being completely divided from that. But
it looks amazing also, the location and everything.
Yeah, that aspect of it is probably, it looks a little bit like possibly style over content, but I'd certainly give it a chance. So have you got also a cold like I've had the last week or something?
The what?
A cold.
A cold? No, I don't have. No, thank God.
Well, okay, I'm just asking because you kept coughing and stuff. So.
No, it's not. It's just my sinuses. Sometimes they get blocked. Allergies.
You remind me of someone else I knew, you know, past someone I knew from Romania who had a similar kind of thing, actually.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's just because there are so many trees here, and probably many trees carry this kind of, I don't know, thing, pollen or something.
You're probably still just, you know, getting used to it, and
yeah,
I think seasonal changes as well. It's like, it's so strange how, you know, we have like summer and then we go into the colder seasons and things, and then people just suddenly start getting like sore throats here and stuff, and you know, it's just.
And also there is this kind of thing that now there are more COVID cases. At least I know.
Yeah, I know that's the worrying aspect of it.
Yeah.
It says there's also like there's people having, you know, like long-term colds as well. Like the cold symptoms carry on in some form or other for like 4 weeks.
long form COVID. Yeah.
No, not COVID. I mean like just a cold or a
just long form cold,
flu type of thing, whatever you want to call it. Virus.
Yeah, probably.
Thank you, Isabella Mars, for your comparison there to another film called Another Country, which I know of. I think that's a UK production, but I'll just check.
Another Country?
I thought Another Country was about like two men having like a relationship. Yeah, it is, but...
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's got Rupert Everett and Colin Firth, and their friendship, which develops into something. Oh no, one of them is gay. The one played by Rupert Everett. So.
Okay, but is it like? Do you think it's like a crime or thriller movie? This one, The Saltburn. It sounds a bit like a thriller. Or, I don't know.
I thought like the way that actress comes in, I don't know, she called Rosamund Pike, and she starts saying, I've always had like this, just, I hate ugliness. Like, that is really I mean, that's a nasty thing to say. Like, is she talking to him? Or, well, it's horrible, isn't it? But, I mean, you know, you look at people generally in society, like, a lot of people are not attractive, are they? But it doesn't mean that they're not good people, does it?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so it's interesting. Yeah, maybe it is about a cult or something. A cult where people are not allowed to be unattractive. I don't know.
Well, I think that's something common to, you know, there's a class snobbery perhaps, but I don't think it's dealing specifically with just that though. Because, I mean, we had Boris Johnson as a, you know, prime minister, and I wouldn't call him. I mean, many people described him as an albino gorilla.
Albino gorilla.
He's not classically handsome, is he?
No, he's not. He's not handsome at all.
I suppose he's an eccentric fellow, but he made out that he's so eccentric, but in reality, he's kind of pretty boring. Like, go away, Boris. Please, it's boring now. It was maybe funny for a few people for a while, but I personally never found it funny. So I think in politics especially as well, people need to, and any walk of life really, the main thing is like substance, isn't it? It's not about just putting on a show.
No.
So, and I think that film deals with that though, this Saltburn, because it's like the place where they're living, and I think that what that trailer is really exemplifying is the just the kind of beauty of the property they live in and the gardens and all that kind of, with these flying shots over it, and then the flashy writing at the end, and just the overall, and like that lead actor in it, not the other one, the darker tall guy. He's actually well known for his role in the American TV show Euphoria, which I was very impressed by. So, but in that he plays a completely opposite. I mean, in this, I imagine he plays someone who might not, you might not be able to trust them, but in Euphoria, he plays like a kind of high school jock bully.
Oh, okay, wow.
Who's got definitely some psychopathic tendencies, but a lot of it's so connected to his dad.
Okay.
Who's like a kind of hidden kind of gay guy,
You know what? I was wondered in these movies, like these psychopaths, like for example, Mia Goth's character in X. I mean, they all look so beautiful, and other sociopaths in movies like that, I mean, why? Because I mean, in Romania, if you just single out the psychopaths in the society, they're all ugly. I mean, not ugly, but they are not attractive. They just, they're realistic. They're people.
Well, I think it's because it's a film, but I think you are going to find people who are attractive who may behave sociopathically, for sure. But it
like
just
Ted Bundy. No, he
well,
was
no,
attractive, Ted Bundy.
Oh right, Ted Bundy. Yeah, sorry, I thought you would. I could start thinking of Fred West, but you don't know who Fred West is, I imagine.
Fred West.
He wasn't.
Is
like,
he British?
Yeah,
British.
Anyway, let's just end tonight. I'm getting quite tired. So.
Yeah, of course, it's late here, but yes, thank you for the discussion.
I've just not been able to get rid of this cold I've had for the last week.
You had it, okay. It's nothing related to COVID, right?
I thought earlier that I'm going to take a COVID test, but I don't know where I put my COVID tests, whether I've took them all away or I've not got any anymore. So,
well, like what Romanians do when they get a cold, they have to use a lot of garlic. We have to press the garlic, make this kind of garlic paste, and you put it. I either put it in a tea or something like that, and it takes away your cold.
Well, I do have some garlic. It's like ready pressed, actually, but I don't think I'm going to do that tonight. But I will just.
You're going to be like destroyed because the garlic takes all this mucus away. So be ready with napkins.
Well, it could also destroy my colon, and I mean, I think what you're describing.
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah.
No, that's just a joke, obviously. But I mean,
it's for immunity also. So
I do think what you're describing in itself is sociopathic. So.
Oh, what?
I mean, somebody who's having tea with garlic in it, then going out and mixing with people, and then breathing on their faces like this.
It is very sociopathic.
What do I smell like? And then they're like, would you mind stop breathing in my face? And then you just get an ice pick and jam it through their throat.
Oh yeah, that's not very nice. But I mean, because when you take garlic, you just have to.
It could happen though, couldn't it? It could happen in today's society we live in.
But I mean, because some people got COVID and they were desperate, so they had to use a lot of garlic. So that's why I'm telling you, because it kills any kind of virus.
No, I do appreciate it. I mean, I'm not going to.
Ginger with honey, yeah, exactly.
I would never go out and then shove an ice pick near somebody, near someone's genitals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not nice.
Just touching them.
touching.
That would be a crazed crime. That would. I mean, he was caught on crime, breathing garlic, with a weapon near someone's genital.
Pretty good. God. That's like almost like a thriller movie.
That's pretty scary. Well, to be honest, I think the whole thing I've got just from Basic Instinct, actually.
Okay.
It's quite a shocking film in its own way, really.
Oh yeah, that's a very good movie.
I think so. I think it's good in its own way. I mean, Paul Verhoeven is a kind of crazy director, but you've got to give him credit, really. He makes like proper films, you know.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the one he made, one of the more recent ones he made, but he's made some like very serious films. And then there's one where he plays there's one where there's a woman who seeks revenge. I can't remember the name of it now, but anyway.
Oh, the young woman? No.
She's not that young.
I forgot that. I know about the woman who seeks revenge. Yeah, it's a very scary, not scary, thriller. It's a thriller movie.
Elle, yeah.
Yeah.
The film is called Elle.
Oh, okay.
Isabelle Huppert.
Oh.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Tonight.
Thanks, James, and get well soon and eat garlic.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Take care there, and thank you for being on.
Bye. You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye. Ginger with Honey is another film recommendation. Thank you, Isabella Mars. Very much appreciated, and I hope you upload that one at least by tomorrow. And I will be watching Nuts in May at the same time as having Ginger with Honey. So everybody out there, thank you for watching. Make sure you share this video with basically everybody you know at this point in life. That could be 3 people or maybe 5. Even if you only know one person, please share it with them. Bye for now from me, and thank you.